Your soul is mine. Can you tell that I got back from Universal Studios? This is obviously from the iconic Mummy ride. I got the Pharaoh hat. But wait, there's more. And as you can see, I've transformed into a werewolf because I was bitten at Monsters Unchanged, part of the new epic universe out of Universal Studios. Isn't that cool? The teeth kind of shove into my eyes, but I'm in love. This is the best 42 bucks I've ever spent. So here we are. And now we're ready to do a very special episode, an edition of Bobby's Popcast, where I kind of recap all things Florida. It was a really much needed vacation. I've been grinding volleyballs to the wall, as they say. Just busy working, and I've been quite overwhelmed and stressed. And I got to go. I had this wonderful opportunity to go for like an early birthday trip slash Father's Day trip to Universal Studios with my sister and her family. Fun fact, it actually started off as a boys trip. So my nephew Brody, who is 17, and my brother-in-law Chris, the three of us were just kind of talking. This was about a month and a half ago, and we saw the announcement for the new Epic Universe, and we're like, oh my gosh, I was drawn to one specific ride in particular. It's called Monsters Unchained, and it features every single monster from the Universal horror theme of creatures. So you've got Victoria Frankenstein, who's the granddaughter of Victor Frankenstein. You've also got Frankenstein's monster, the new and improved version, according to Monsters Unchained, the ride. You've also got Dracula. You've got the Phantom of the Opera. You've got the Mummy. You've got the iconic Vampire Brides, the creature from the Black Lagoon, and my first and foremost favorite. This is something I've dreamed about for years. This is probably like the best ride I've ever wanted to do, and it finally happened. But I got to be a part of the werewolf Monsters Unchained sort of experience, and that's the little thing that I go, oh my gosh, looks like he's biting me. Anyway, so I got to do that. And fun fact, Universal Studios is quite large. So you've got like the Harry Potter stuff, you got a whole bunch of stuff going on there, but they built a separate theme park and part of Universal Studios. It's called Epic Universe, features 4 brand new worlds. Celestial Park, it's got a brand new Harry Potter world. It has Nintendo Land. It has Dark Universe, which features the monster homage, and How to Train Your Dragon Land. So if you're planning to do like a family vacation, be on the lookout for that. It's a separate ticket, and it is absolutely worth the ticket. We went for one day, and I had the most fun I think I've had since I was like a kid. I got to be the very first ride that we rode was the iconic Monsters Unchained. So the story and premise behind that is Victoria Frankenstein, who's the granddaughter of Victor Frankenstein, has continued his work. So she's recreated Frankenstein's monster, but the new and improved version. So she's worked out all the kinks. He's very friendly. If you've got little kids, I would say this ride is probably not for them, because even my 17-year-old nephew got a little bit scared when he saw the werewolf go like scratch out at you. But they have amazing, amazing animatronics that you have something to look forward to. So if you love monsters and the old school Universal just feel of the classic horror creatures, this ride is for you. This ride has everything. I feel like Stefan from SNL, but it's pretty epic, pun intended, epic universe. But I digress. So we did that for the first day, got to ride Monsters Unchained. I rode it a total of 5 times. The wait times were pretty low for that one, and they're pretty high overall for Universal Studios rides overall. But I don't think monsters are as popular as like people like me. But I will say a lot of the horror fans that went there, you could just tell they were geeks like me, and people loved either the Mummy or Dracula or, you know, Frankenstein. But I was the tried and true werewolf fan, because I was like, oh my gosh. And then I will tell you the compartment ride, because there's only 2 worlds in Dark Universe that involve monsters. And what's really cool is there's a huge mansion that they've built that is Victoria Frankenstein's mansion. So it's just filled with memorabilia and almost lab style horror stuff of horror creatures and stuff like that. And then right next to it, they've got a ride called The Curse of the Werewolf. The ride times can kind of go up to like an hour, maybe 50 minutes, somewhere around there. We waited maybe, I would say, 5-10 minutes, so that wasn't that bad. It's a very short ride, but it's one of these rides where it kind of like jets you up, and you gotta go up, and your cart kind of spins, and it's all of, oh man, I would say maybe a minute long, maybe a minute 30 at the most, but it was pretty short. But what's cool is you get to see this giant werewolf statue just come out and like try to bite you. It's like standing underneath the bridge as you go through. So that was pretty fun. And as we left, the ride operator said, "Congratulations, you're not all werewolves." So I took that as a sign of pride and of honor. So I'm a technical werewolf, according to that. And then we made our way to Harry Potter Land. I was not a fan of this because it kind of involves a little bit of, I would say, Fantastic Beasts meshed with Harry Potter. So the ride was Professor Umbridge's trial. Now, forgive me, I'm not a big Harry Potter fan, but my brother-in-law is. So we waited 2 hours for the only ride that they have in the Harry Potter universe for that world. And it was okay. It was, it was a cool cart sort of experience, and they kind of move you and you see the Harry Potter characters and Professor Umbridge be on trial, and she breaks free, and yada yada yada. That's the story. So it was pretty good. And I will say the ambiance of like old France was pretty cool to look at, but the ride overall, I would not wait more than 15 minutes for that, but the ride times go up to like 4 hours for that. So a lot of people want to try it out. So I would place my money, if you want to do a Harry Potter ride, on the other Universal Studios theme parks, because those rides like the Harry Potter World, Gringotts Escape, Hagrid's ride, they're all spectacular compared to that. And then we made our way through Nintendo Land. Nintendo Land is definitely geared towards kids. We wanted to do the Mario Kart ride, but the wait time was just insane for that. But it was saturated and overwhelmed with little kids. So it's definitely geared towards little kids. Got to hit the power block and it lights up as you do it. And it's built, like you can see, Princess Peach Castle, Bowser's Castle. We did the Donkey Kong ride. That's the only ride that pissed me off because number one, it was raining, so we had to like get out of the rain. So we just chose a ride, and Donkey Kong was like the first ride there. And we made our way inside, and the ride was all of maybe a minute long, and it was just boring. So, if you like kiddie rides, that's the place for you. And then the fourth land, aside from Celestial Park, because Celestial Park kind of houses the main thing, the fourth land was How to Train Your Dragon Land. We tried to go on one little ride. I think it was the Toothless Glider, the Dragon Glider. But my nephew was like, I don't want to wait for this one. It seemed like a little kid world as well. So we just dipped out. But it was very cool aesthetically. The Nintendo Land and How to Train Your Dragon Land, if you're fans, very, very cool aesthetic. The kid in me was very excited about Nintendo Land because it felt like I was in the video game. And then Celestial Park is kind of the main hub where you branch off into all the other universes. That part was really cool because it has the one massive roller coaster inside the park. It is called Stardust Racers. So it's two roller coasters that take off together, and you're basically racing against each other. But I will tell you this, it took off at 62 miles an hour, and bada bing, we were off and swirling, and coasters were like meeting with each other and twisting and doing all this thing. And it had been a year since I've rode a roller coaster, so I was a little bit kind of like taken back by, I'm like, I don't know if I'm scared. I don't know if I'm nervous. And then like after 30 seconds, I was like, I'm having the time of my life. And we did that a few times. So that was pretty epic. And then day 2 and 3 of the Universal Florida theme parks, we made our way to Universal Studios. So you've got the Marvel Land, which features kind of the comic versions of the rides. Got to ride the Hulk for the first time. Fun fact, 17 years ago, I went there on my honeymoon and I was too afraid to ride anything besides like the Mummy and like the Disney rides. I just had a fear of roller coasters. And for some reason, I'm aging in reverse because I want to do everything now. So I did the Hulk for the first time with my nephew. We had a blast. We did Spider-Man. That was pretty fun. The top rides, I would say, in Universal Studios for me were the Velocicoaster in Jurassic World area. That coaster goes 70 miles an hour and takes you on the most insane twists and turns. It is absolutely thrill-seeking ride. I did that 4 times. It was so fun. Oh my gosh, my serotonin just burst in my brain thinking about it. It's absolutely the best roller coaster in Universal Studios. And then next to that, the Mummy is just a tried and true favorite because it's like a favorite of our families. We also did the Simpsons ride, which was, fun fact, being built when I was getting married. So we walked by, it said, coming soon, The Simpsons. And then finally I made it to The Simpsons, and you basically walk into Krusty's giant mouth, and that's where you've got the simulated car with like the screen, and Sideshow Bob basically tries to kill you and your family and Bart in a fun, comic book way. But it was just so much fun for that. We did the Transformers. We did the Jimmy Fallon New York ride, which takes you all throughout New York. I will say this, that ride has very low wait times, and my sister is not a coaster person, so it was one of the few rides that she liked to do. And that was actually pretty fun. Jimmy Fallon is very, very fun. Him and the Roots kind of tag teamed like the rules, because they kind of make you like go through like the keep your arms and legs inside the thing, blah, 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 or buckle your seatbelt, all that fun stuff. But they did it in such a fun, creative way. And Jimmy Fallon is absolutely creative when it comes to how he did his ride. So that is really awesome. We also did the Harry Potter world. So I got to see Hogmeade. I got to see Hogwarts. I got to see Diagon Alley. I got to see like the dark place where, what is it? The Slytherin people hang out, like all the dark, horrible wizards. That place was completely dark. So when you walk in from like sunlight and you're in completely darkness, it was kind of hard to see everything. I'm like, I can't see a damn thing. It's almost like eating at Cheesecake Factory. To me, Cheesecake Factory is so dimly lit that I have a hard time seeing, but your eyes begin to adjust after a period of time. And that was pretty cool. So they got some cool shops in there. So don't forget to visit that. And then my nieces had the wands where you can like do spells and stuff and, you know, activate different things. So that's pretty cool if you're like a Harry Potter nerd. My brother-in-law loves that stuff. I will say the rides were really, really cool and spectacular. Hagrid's was the best. My sister and I got on that one, and we just had so much fun. And then, you know, the creme de la creme, obviously Velocicoaster. I love the Jurassic Park safari ride where you kind of face the T-Rex before you go down. We did the rafting thing to cool down because it was hot as hell in Florida. Very, very humid. Lots of lizards and bugs. And overall, the whole experience was just epic. It was epic and universal on all senses. And I'm so grateful to be back from vacation, but Colorado is home. So I'm glad to be doing the Popcast. And that's my little vacation recap. Episode 1 of Bobby's Popcast. I will be getting into the pop culture stuff. I promise. That'll be episode 2. So thank you for watching. And as always, you can follow all my links and get me on streaming services and platform services at BobbyAdan.com. That's BOBBYADAN.com. And I can't leave you without a brief message from my wonderful sponsors, CS Custom Blinds. My friends Bree and Pete are local business owners. They own CS Custom Blinds, and they work their butts off to make sure that you have the best customer service experience from quote to installation and even after. They take care of their customers and they care about you. So you need to call today for a free home estimate and make sure you tell them that Bobby Adan sent you. I'm telling you, they will give you the hookup. 719-344-2799 or visit them online at cscustomblinds.com. Now is the time to rethink about what you're doing to your home. Maybe it needs a makeover. Maybe you need new blinds, shutters, shades. The possibilities are endless. And if you think you can't afford it, don't worry. They've got something for every single budget. And they do offer 0% financing options. And you cannot forget about your military discount. So once again, 719-344-2799. CS Custom Blinds, Colorado owned for your Colorado home. Boom.